Hello everyone, welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky episode 0x2b. Today we're going to start with a couple of den updates that, some good stuff happening. We're going to show you what is live now in production, a notification feature that we've been waiting on, in-browser notification for a while. We finally got it in place. It's beautifully done. And so if you go to your settings in Den, you go to notifications, at the top, you will see a browser and it will be defaulted off. And you will click on that, and somewhere, depending on your browser, if it's Chrome, it will be up in the top. And I was actually a little surprised because it didn't pop up. It actually popped a little icon that looked like something was blocked inside of the address bar here. And it lets you say, yes, allow notifications, and then you can go in and you can mute the individual layers if something is particularly noisy, or you don't really care to get notifications about it. Now, currently, and we'll be making a couple of adjustments to this, the notifications require, of course, the browser to be running either in the foreground or the background. And if your browser is focused, that is, your tab or window is actually foreground of Den itself, you won't get a notification in your system. But if it's backgrounded and the browser is running, then you will get a notification. It's the same as every other notification. If you get notifications from your calendar or from Slack or something like that, it's the same thing. It should, depending on your OS, pop up. I'm Linux, so there are very special considerations, but it's a really useful feature to hopefully get more engagement and more of the conversations going, because as it is, sometimes you don't know when somebody replies to you until many hours later, and then they don't know that you replied back until many hours later again. So it makes it rough. And this will apply as well to the mobile app, which we are currently working on, and hopefully we'll have something out soon, and maybe we will have a beta for that. I haven't even talked to the guys about that yet or not, but one way or another, let us know if you're interested, and we will try to let everybody know when it comes out. And yes, it should be simultaneous Android and iOS. And we should have now the only thing that I say about that is we probably won't wait on the Apple Store to release it before we put out the Android one, but we are building them at the same time. They will be ready at the same time, so it should be great. Another thing that will be interesting is what is actually notified. So right now, I believe that you get notified for upvotes. We might or might not remove that, and definitely we will have a way to change some of the notification settings that you would say, I don't want to get upvote notifications or something. But the other piece is that we want to provide a trending notification, so you see the big content that's coming in on that day. And we also want to do something similar for high engagement. That is, if there's a lot of conversation going on under some post in a layer that you are subscribed to, that we want to tell you about that in case you want to weigh in or see what people are talking about. So the whole point with this is, and this we've known this has been a big missing component with Den, to really get a lot of activity happening. So that's in place. Go try it out. Go test it out, and give us feedback. I just turned it on this morning. They just released it early this morning, East Coast, so U.S. time. So that is that. Let's see here. Next thing I have is a Dragonchain update. So this is the user metrics that, and that's actually too small. Let me look it up here. Okay, so we have individual license token holders are currently at 38,957. So this is somewhat, actually, it's a pretty good thing to think about before the documentary, before the open source money series season comes out, to see, is this affected? Do we have more people that are interested in using the platform, running a node, doing things with Dragonchain? So we're starting roughly at 39,000, and then currently we have 26,729. This is as of June 1, actual registered console accounts, which is actually more than I thought we had. So that was really interesting as well. Just a simple little announcement for everybody. Hopefully that's interesting. Next we're going to bring on a guest, BitBuyTheCoin, to talk about her latest blog post, which is primarily focused on that WEF, Accenture, Deloitte. Who else is? Am I right? Accenture and Deloitte were in that.
Deloitte and the World Economic Forum.
Okay.
Not Accenture. No.
Really? Okay. I thought
I
I saw
don't
it.
know.
Okay. All right. So so one way or another, it's really in depth, right?
Very.
And when
long and boring.
when I would read
dry.
some of the stuff, they don't quite get, in my opinion, right? They have some there's some points in there that they kind of gloss over. So how fun was that? Was it fun to
it was a struggle. The person I used for research was very busy and had a hard time getting in touch with him.
Yeah.
But eventually we got it done.
That's good. That's good.
But yeah, I mean, when I was doing this one, this was a lot of the same stuff over and over again. But I thought it was important because, they just look at things completely different than Dragonchain does, And I know some people reading these things are like, yes, you said that already, or, she keeps talking about liberty and sovereignty and all that stuff. But I mean, it's so different, so important that when no one gets that part, how are you going to be able to really successfully interchain or interop all of the systems and still maintain, your intellectual property? It's just impossible.
Yeah. And yeah, even for me, because it was, I mean, they have, and they purposely did, and I think most likely it was, it's to boost consulting, so they say, okay, everybody needs this and nobody figured it out, but we'll help you figure it out. We won't help anyone else. We'll help you figure it out. That type of thing, I'm assuming, because most of it, and I don't know why WEF would be doing it, except that, maybe it was just offered for free, I don't know. Right. But it at least covered all of the different contexts, right? I mean, they did talk about, I think the one thing I was impressed about that they had was around, I can't remember what they called it, but it was basically the token swap, and then they mentioned other angles that I haven't seen anybody else talk about except for us.
Right.
But they still got it wrong. I mean, at least they didn't really consider, I guess, everything. So, that's good though. Well, thanks for putting that together, because that was.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Huge. And how long was that? Was that this week? Wait, when did that go?
No, this was this week.
Okay.
This originally was supposed to be the first one. The first one was the interchain, and in hindsight, it was good the way that it worked that way, So interchain was first, and then Cointelegraph, I love them so much, reviewed their article, and then this one. So
yes,
kind of round it all out.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Have you thought about, or have any hints as to whether? Because some of them, I know CoinDesk, well, I think CoinDesk, maybe Cointelegraph too, will actually show when an article is literally a promotion, right? It is promoted or paid.
Yeah, it does say it at the bottom.
Okay. And tomorrow.
But
Okay.
sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
It feels like it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because I know the one we had one, and I won't go into details. We had one change. Sorry, I screw that word up now all the time. One interchange with someone at one of these major crypto publications, right?
mhm.
They were extremely polite. They were actually really, really awesome. And it started with, "Hey, we're about to put out this article," and it was actually pretty commendable that they were doing some amount of due diligence, because they were saying, "We think you might have some input into this." And so for us, it was like, "Oh yeah, of course we have input in about interop, interchain, hybrid, all the rest of this." And they said that this group says that they're the first ever, and this is new. And so I said, "Well, that's not really true. I mean, depending how you describe it, maybe." But it was funny because it went back and forth, and you could tell this person was trying to do their best,
Right.
yet they were obviously being pushed by some editorial side that probably had money in the background, something, because they couldn't actually do what was obvious.
Yeah.
And when it went back and we actually said, "Well, no, look, here's the actual proof that we did this 3 years ago or 4," and even stuff at Disney, and they came back and said, "Well, we think of it differently than," and it was just funny. It's like, okay, you redefine it. It was it's just a pretzel twist logic stuff. And it was like, okay, I understand if somebody with that big of a budget probably has some PR people that have some real pull, and so okay. We don't care in the end, but as a journalist or as a publication, that's why, I mean, they, there should be some way. I don't know. They should just be real journalists. If you're going to be a journalist, you should be a journalist, and if it's going to be paid, it should be paid. And so there's nothing wrong with having paid stuff, but people, okay, that's paid.
Right. That's the thing, it doesn't matter that, you talk about other places, or other projects, but you have to talk about us too.
Yeah.
We're important.
And I think in crypto right now, and I don't know, because I've not paid attention enough for too many months, and stuff changes really fast. But I know Cointelegraph used to be, in my opinion, really good at saying, "Look, this is controversial, but this is it."
Right.
And something to note too, when we were at Disney, we posted, Disney posted that they were seeking an intern because we needed an intern for our project, and it was put, plastered everywhere over all of the different journals, and CoinDesk never published anything. They wouldn't touch anything. It was really weird. That's so strange for them not to. And then when we finally released after the token sale, they did, and it was only, here are the metrics about the Dragonchain token sale. Boom. And it was like, okay, and they did reach out. It was great, but it was just really odd, and they never touched it, and whatever. Okay, it's strange. So anyway, so, and we you also pushed up some. So I guess I should say, I want to figure that out, because it's particularly important to Den, right? The stuff we do at Den fits around that, and we're going to push Den off, and it'll be launched, and it'll, not, some of the structure of it will be pretty neat, because there won't even be a CEO. It's just going to be this org with a governance board, right? So that should be pretty cool, and then maybe we can make hay then, or they can. It won't be. So okay, so then the other stuff. Can we zoom in on this? The other stuff on that you just posted this morning, right? Was and it was because we're getting people coming back and getting new people in again.
Seems like it's an uptick in it. Something happened with the price, and then everybody comes back, I think.
Is that what it is?
Yes, I think that's what it is. That's a great project. I've loved them forever.
Yes, that's awesome.
But a lot of questions have been asked in Telegram, so I just did this, just save the link and then just give them the link, what to do. Just time dragons, make sure they're in a wallet, that sort of thing. And then how to claim your wallet, just a little bit more in depth than what's in another publication that we had.
Great. And the stuff on the claim article is on claiming in the console, right?
Right. This is actually just a little bit more expanded of the EAP one that Blake just, I'm sorry, that Blake just posted a couple weeks ago. We updated, but I made this a little bit more detailed.
Cool.
Because I didn't understand a couple parts of this.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And does it have the stuff on transfer time? The client, what do you call that time? Is it reclaim?
What?
Does it have the stuff on how you transfer time, or is that something we should probably touch upon that sooner?
That's not in this one.
Okay.
But there's a link to it in the welcome back one.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Because there's some things coming that I think people they'll be clamoring to know, how do I do this? Right. So, okay. Very good. Very good. All right. Anything else?
Yeah. Well, I just want to say that I'm done with the WEF. And then I think, but we're still building on Interchain. So I think we're going to look at some projects that we can help and we can work together and just kind of expand the community a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. And then I've been, we have, and people know that we've been doing some things with Divi and we're still going back and forth, getting some stuff built. We're doing some stuff for them. They're doing some stuff for us. It's going to be awesome. And we've been reaching out to a couple of others that will be interesting, that fit the mold of what, why do we interchain? Why do we interop with other blockchains? And of course, we're also working on a couple of projects that do what we have listed as our fourth dimension, which is the integration with traditional. So it's, I would think of it as an integration, but it is an interchain because we are basically connecting it to Dragonchain and in the end, any other blockchain that we're interchaining with. So, okay, awesome. Right. Well, thank you. Thanks for writing all that. I know that was had been fun, right? Okay. Next, we're going to bring on Trey to talk about some of the new progress in the sales program and some other information around that. So Trey, introduce yourself a little bit because not everybody knows your background. Because I just found out like maybe 2 months ago, right, that you had this baseball career for us, right? So
good old glory days. Yeah, I played baseball in college. I played for Louisiana State and won a national championship with them. Played for Skip Bertman, who is a legendary coach that's already in the Hall of Fame. He actually coached his last game yesterday, 19 years ago. So it's been a few moons. Yeah, it's been a few moons since I played, but good old glory days. I had the opportunity to play for the U.S. Olympic team. I was invited to the U.S. Olympic trials, and then I also played with Cincinnati for a couple years. I was invited to the instructional league, so I got to play with their top 30 prospects. I ended up I had some college nerve injury from getting pumped with cortisone and pitching too much back in the day. So I ended up having to leave the game a little early and reinvent myself. So, but yeah, the game was good to me, and missing the College World Series this year as COVID has knocked it off the off the schedule. So, but yes, sports were good to me, and helped me learn how to be a leader. So it's groomed me well as I take the helm and try to, get some sales.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man.
Thank you.
So tell us about so we had announced the sales program a few weeks back. It was 2 months ago, right?
Yes.
So, so tell us, I guess, what what progress, what's going on, and
Sure.
yeah.
Sure. Well, we just released today the presentation pitch decks to the sales team. So those are available, and everyone can go through and look at those again. We've got a lot more content that we're going to be putting in, but we thought we'd at least give you what we've got now finished, so that you can start getting a familiarity with it. But again, there's going to be, there's pitch decks for each sector. There's also things that are broken down by each product, so you can just pull out loyalty rewards if you have someone that's interested with that. We also have some videos that we've weaved into there, so you can pull up, and we have more video content coming. JD and his team are putting together some stuff for us. That's not finished. I was kind of waiting for that to be done to release this, but I thought let's go ahead and just give what we have finished now. And we're also working on a blockchain industry guide, so that's going to be what you're going to use during the needs analysis prior to selecting the pitch deck. And that's going to give you some clues about what type of buyer they are, what their interest level in, and that'll help you to select which compilation you play.
Also give us good feedback too, right? So if we see things missing, or
Yes. I mean, and that's the whole idea here, is that this is a community effort. If people have feedback, or if they have something they want to add to it, or an illustration, or I'm totally open. I want to make this the best it can be, and I'm not claiming to be the expert. We definitely want to have community feedback and participation. Right. So yes, feel free to give any suggestions. All suggestions will be well received for sure. We've actually made some pretty dramatic changes to the product and the way that we're pitching it. We're kind of trying to get away from the crypto slant and the trying to get a company to understand time and applying time and things of that nature. So we've really simplified it. We're basically just selling a setup fee with software acquisition, which is something that is very normal terminology for an enterprise. And basically what we're calling it is an operational software license purchase plan. And what that allows them to do is have a guaranteed price point per month with guaranteed transaction prices. And if they end up seeing a lot of transactions, they can bump their self up one level, and that's adjustable at any time. So since we've made that adjustment, we've pitched it 6 times, and in the next week we'll be sending out 6 contracts to 6 enterprises that adopted it. So apparently it's being well received, which is a really huge piece. And what else is really cool about it is we're rolling the CTLC contracts into the setup fee itself.
Right.
So you're not going to be waiting to be selected. We're going to manually pull you and just enter you in the contract, and the contracts are not going to expire. Once that contract starts, as long as that enterprise is using that and moving forward, that will continue to operate. So it'd be up to that party to terminate it.
Yeah. So, and that came, by the way, that did come from some of the feedback, and it's pretty recent development, the setup fee structure, and what it is on the front end is a much easier way to explain what will I be charged as an enterprise, as a company, and where we're basically insulating them from having to understand everything about the economy. And you can imagine trying to sell an enterprise client with cryptocurrency and then time and all this. It's already hard. So this makes it very clean.
And it's really helped us shift from blockchain education to providing solutions. And instead of having that big, lost in translation over the crypto and the time, it's really straightforward, and they're in control. If they want to lower their transaction fees, sure, we've got another level up, so they can walk themselves up.
And so to explain it, like to anybody who might be interested, that we basically will say there's a setup fee, which is based upon the fee structure, on the other side behind the scenes, what transaction fee they desire, right? So if they say, okay, because of the number of transactions, I need to get it down to a penny, or I need to get it down to 100ths of a cent. This is the way, and we're going to be adding other breakdowns. We're going to be adding 1,000th of a cent, right? Sometime soon, and a little more flexibility. If somebody has a really radical number of transactions, they can do that.
And we also give them the ability to finance that purchase, that plan. So we give them up to 90 days to acquire that software, and then we're going to cover their transaction rates until that time by applying time from our own personal stash.
Well, no, that's what a CTLC. Sorry. So on the back end.
Oh,
on the
sorry.
back
I'm
end,
sorry. Okay.
yeah, on the back end, it is entirely that the setup fee will go to purchasing dragons, throwing them into a wallet that can accumulate time. So it'll take 30, 60, 90, depending upon the level we're at, 30, 60, 90 days. And sometimes we had some of the levels that might even take 6 months. But either way, to build up enough time to get them down to the fee level they want. And in the meantime, we will cover entirely with CTLC, unless there is no CTLC, then we will, then we will have to commit our own Dragonchain's time. So, we have a lot of time, but what we want to do is as simply as possible rearrange the CTLC structure so that it's not a market. I mean, you don't declare your rate or anything. We just will put based upon our setup fees, here's how much will go, because part of the setup fee will go to purchasing the dragons. Part of the setup fee will go to purchasing CTLC to cover that gap of time before they build to the fee level they need. And on their side, it's extremely simple. It's normal. On the back end, it's everybody will be happy because the CTLC will have a better price. The CTLC will be, I think, instead of having a 3-month contract like it is, it'll be just month at a time, and it'll keep going. So as if you say, okay, I'm going to apply, I'm not using it, let's say, so I'm going to apply 40 million time over here. So you will get some amount of that taken out, and I don't know if we don't know all the details yet, if it'll be based on FIFO or we don't know yet who will get that contract, but it'll be something that makes sense. So
and the beauty is that we go to the open market to buy the tokens. So in the end, we're driving the price up as they onboard.
Yeah. And we will say too, we looked this week, and I think circulating supply is over 90%. I mean, we have some of that, depending on how you want to calculate it. Some of it is locked up in team. But even if you consider all of the team lockups, the things that are rolling out over time, I think it's still over 90%. It's at least over 80% of all of the dragons are circulating. And yet coin market cap only marks that original 55% at circulating. So we do think our circulating supply for ranking in the market is very much wrong. And we've, by the way, just to be transparent, we have gone, they do have a system. So you can say, hey, we want that updated. And we have interacted with that, filled out their spreadsheet. They've come back like 3 times, and I just ran out of time because they kept wanting deeper and deeper, more info. How long is this locked up? Especially in team stuff. And I'm like, well, it's this is 5-year lockup. This is I think there's 3 years remaining on this one. And so I didn't have time to finish everything. So maybe that'll happen soon, and they'll update it. I'm sure they have some consideration because it would push our rank way up, and somebody might say, hey, but I get, they're at least trying to make it clean and maybe I should just make a lot of that open. I'll see if I can. But anyway, what else do we have? You talked about signed deals, and did you already give the regions where they're at? A few of them are Midwest.
Taos, Houston, mainly Midwest. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of traction in the Midwest here recently. So
that's good. Good people. Good people. And then I guess the last thing that both of you guys can talk about a little bit, because I've been too nose to the grindstone, too busy to pay too much attention. I'm trying to. On Beaksy listed us, the new Beaksy listed us out of Chicago, right? Yeah. And that's interesting because they're American, they're regulated much like Bittrex is, and it becomes a more interesting thing to us because they're having to jump through all these hoops like we have, and as an example, I tried to get an account just so I could see more info, and my KYC didn't go through because I'm in Washington State, and it's it's like, I guess New York and Washington are my nanny, right? So I can't do anything without some type of crazy permission from the governor or something. I don't know what it is. Maybe we'll bring that up later. But that's rolling, and people, we do know that I don't know the dates that they're starting, but there will be contests that we are participating in some way too, that should be interesting, leading up to the open source money documentary that's launching July 4, right? So there will be some really cool stuff there, and I hope the announcements will be soon. At least from our side, what we're doing will be soon, and we'll it'll be fun, something cool. We also have something that I forgot to mention. Local officials, in regards to SafePass, that BitBuyTheCoin wrote up this document that you can basically copy and paste, send to, is that the intent? So you can send to your local officials, to get it it out there, because a lot of them won't know that something is out there like this. And some of the pieces that they're working on right now, that the team, is the addition of the business functionality. That is, if you have a small business, in particular, if you have a restaurant or a bar or something like that, the intent is that you can go in there, add all your employees, you sign up, add your employees, they get invites, they come in, and they can protect their anonymity. The system will track that they are one of your employees, but you might not have any idea which one it is. But when they come in to work, to the office, to the restaurant, they can let you scan it, and you can see, okay, you did go through the process, you are clear, and whether it is survey, temperature, those types of things, which is the base level. It can also include testing, if the employer requires antibody testing, or if it's suggested and people do it. All of that information comes into it, and yet we're maintaining a really clear safety for HIPAA and everything else for HR. So it's a clean system that people can still protect their anonymity when they're doing it. And the information itself, especially at first, is entirely on the mobile device. And we're working on, and I don't have the precise way it'll happen, but it's pretty cool, because theoretically, even when your company requires a clinic or somebody with a proper medical credential to actually look at the test and say, okay, yes, you took it, this is the result, that you can, or we think that you will be able to encrypt it for that credentialed person only. So nobody else would be able to actually look at it. And that's pretty cool. So anyway, we're working on some pretty cool stuff there, and we have some good interest from some pretty big players, and there's stuff going on in Europe as well that we think that we'll get involved in. Depends upon how the riots play out and whether there's a spike because of the riots or not, I think, right? Should there be a
there will be a spike.
You think?
Whether there's one or not, there will be a spike.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I wonder.
We have an election coming up. Of course, there's going to be a spike.
Well, I guess so. In metrics, right? Yeah. Geez. Everybody has it apparently. Okay. So I think that's is that everything? Do we need to bring it up?
I love it. It's a nice short show.
Yes. That was only 35 minutes. Wow. And we even had the WEF report in there. How is that possible?
We didn't talk about it too much.
Okay. So
all recaps will be delayed. It's summertime. The boys have to go to the pool, have to do the mom thing. So it'll get out there, but it won't be right away.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other stuff going on, so
Yes.
it'll be good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So keep a watch out for everything else new, and see you next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Bye.